In 1960, the successful debut of the Ford Falcon kicked off America's compact car craze. Chevrolet wasn't about to let its rival have the field to itself. Just 2 years later, it struck back with the 1962 Chevy II, built on GM's brand-new X platform. At first, the name Nova was simply the top trim level of the Chevy II, offered from 1962 through 1967. But in 1968, everything changed. Chevrolet officially called its X platform offering the Chevy II Nova. And by 1969, the Chevy II part was dropped altogether, leaving behind a single name that would grow into legend, Chevrolet Nova. What seemed like a small shift in branding turned out to be the beginning of one of the most beloved compact classics in American automotive history. When the 1968 Nova rolled out, it was clear Chevrolet had reimagined its compact with a new sense of purpose. Gone was the plain, boxy look of the early Chevy II. In its place stood a machine with muscle car attitude, a smaller car that suddenly carried the same kind of street presence as its bigger brothers. Chevrolet stretched the wheelbase to 111 inches. That might not sound dramatic today, but in 1968, it put the Nova right into mid-size territory. Yet the overall length, just under 190 inches, kept it classified as a compact. This balance gave the Nova a unique stance, compact in name, but with proportions and presence that made it look like more car than the price tag suggested. The body styles reflected that new direction. Buyers could choose a 2-door coupe or a 4-door sedan, making the Nova just as practical for families as it was exciting for young drivers. And by 1973, Chevrolet added a 2-door hatchback coupe, offering a fresh twist that fit the changing tastes of the early 70s. What they didn't bring back was the station wagon. Chevrolet deliberately kept the Nova's focus on style and simplicity rather than utility. Subtle updates kept the car current. The 1973-74 facelift brought revised taillights, new front and rear bumpers, and small tweaks that gave the Nova a sharper, modern edge while holding on to its clean, muscular lines. These weren't radical changes. They were refinements that kept the Nova appealing without losing the look that made it so popular in the first place. The result was a compact that looked anything but cheap. It had the bold lines, the stance, and the presence of a true American muscle car, wrapped in a package that was affordable and accessible. For many buyers, the Nova proved that you didn't have to spend big money to own a car that looked tough, modern, and downright desirable. The redesign didn't just make the Nova look good, it made it a sales hit. Almost overnight, Chevrolet's compact went from a plain economy car to one of the most desirable choices in showrooms. Buyers loved the balance, a car that was small enough to be affordable, yet big enough to feel substantial on the road. That sweet spot drew in families, young drivers, and anyone looking for value without sacrificing style. The Nova quickly became Chevrolet's ace in the compact market, anchoring the low-price end of the lineup while still carrying the Chevrolet image of dependability. Its success was impossible to ignore inside General Motors. The formula worked so well that other GM divisions rushed to build their own versions on the same X platform. Before long, the market saw the Buick Apollo, the Pontiac Ventura, and the Oldsmobile Omega, all direct spin-offs of the Nova's blueprint. Each wore its own badge and styling, but the DNA was unmistakable. This ripple effect underscored the Nova's impact. It wasn't just selling in strong numbers for Chevrolet, it was shaping the strategy of GM as a whole. No other compact from the period managed to leave that kind of footprint across multiple divisions. By the early 1970s, the Nova had firmly established itself as the most successful compact GM had ever built. It was proof that when Chevrolet got the formula right, affordable price, attractive looks, and just enough muscle, the American public would respond in droves. And they did, making the Nova a household name. If the Nova's styling and sales made it popular, its engines and performance cemented its legend. Chevrolet offered the car with a wide range of power plants, so wide, in fact, that it could be almost anything you wanted it to be. At the entry level, the Nova could be ordered with a modest 153 cubic inch four-cylinder. It wasn't fast, but it was cheap to buy and economical to run. Moving up, Chevrolet offered straight sixes, including the dependable 230 and especially the 250 cubic inch inline six, which became one of the Nova's most common and best-loved engines. These sixes gave the Nova a reputation for reliability, making them favorites for drivers who wanted simplicity and low operating costs. But the Nova's real appeal came when buyers checked the box for a V8. Choices included the 307, the versatile 327, and the increasingly popular 350 small block. Each delivered more muscle, with horsepower ratings ranging from the mid-200s into the 300s during the gross horsepower era. By the early 70s, the 350 had become the engine most people associated with the Nova, offering a blend of strong performance and everyday usability. For those who wanted true muscle, Chevrolet unleashed the big block 396. Available in the Nova SS, this powerhouse came in versions rated at 350 and 375 horsepower. In a car as small and light as the Nova, that much engine gave it an incredible power-to-weight ratio. Even against full-size muscle cars, a properly equipped Nova SS could hold its own and often surprise them. Then came the special editions that pushed the Nova into legend. In 1969, Yenko Chevrolet in Pennsylvania dropped a 427 cubic inch L72 big block into the Nova, creating the Yenko SC 427. With nothing more than a set of slicks, these cars could tear through the quarter mile in under 11 seconds, numbers that made them street terrors. The following year, Yenko introduced the Yenko Deuce, powered by the high-revving LT1350, another car that left a lasting impression on enthusiasts. Even in the early 1970s, as emissions and insurance pressures began to squeeze the muscle car market, the Nova still found ways to appeal to enthusiasts. The Rally Nova package of 1971 to 72 added sporty flair to models equipped with the six-cylinder or small V8s, keeping the spirit alive. This range, from thrifty fours to brutal big blocks, from mild family sedans to tire-shredding Yenko specials, made the Nova one of the most flexible platforms Chevrolet ever built. And for car lovers, that flexibility meant one thing: the Nova could be exactly what you wanted it to be. While performance gave the Nova its reputation, value was always at the heart of the car's mission. From day one, Chevrolet designed it to be inexpensive, reliable, and accessible to the everyday buyer. And that's exactly what it was. In 1968, the average new car in America cost just over $3,400. But a brand new two-door Nova Coupe carried a base price of only $2,284. That difference mattered, especially to families on a budget or young drivers looking for their very first car. For a lot less money, you could still drive off the lot in a vehicle that didn't feel cheap, one that carried modern styling and the Chevrolet nameplate. The Nova was, in many ways, the perfect starter car. It was simple, inexpensive to maintain, and easy to live with. And because it shared so many parts with other Chevrolet models, upkeep was cheap and straightforward. That practicality made it appealing not only when new, but also on the used car market for years afterward. Fast forward to today, and the story has taken on a surprising twist. According to price guides, a 1968 Nova Coupe in high retail condition can bring in around $27,200. And if you're looking for a high-performance SS or one of the rare Yenko modified Novas, the numbers climb much higher, often commanding collector-level prices. It's a remarkable transformation. A car that started out as one of Chevrolet's most affordable offerings has become one of the most sought-after compact classics in the collector world. The reason the Nova continues to shine today goes far beyond numbers on a price guide. It's about the lasting appeal the car carries with enthusiasts across generations. Start with the styling. The 1968 to 1974 Nova struck a balance that few compacts ever achieved, muscular yet modest. Its proportions were clean and balanced, giving it a toughness that has aged beautifully. Many still consider it one of Chevrolet's best designs of the late 60s and early 70s. Then there's the mechanical side. The Nova was simple, but that simplicity became one of its greatest strengths. With room under the hood for anything from a thrifty six-cylinder to a thundering big-block V8, the Nova was a natural canvas for hot rodders. Drop in a high-performance small block, and you had a street machine capable of running with cars twice its price. That flexibility kept the Nova in the spotlight, even as the muscle car era faded. Inside, the Nova was Spartan but functional. There was no luxury, no flash, just a straightforward cabin that did its job. Yet that bare-bones honesty only added to its charm. Perhaps most importantly, the Nova was easy to own. Parts were plentiful, repairs were straightforward, and reliability was solid. That's why so many survive today, still running strong after 50 years. From a humble budget car to one of the most beloved compact classics in America, the Nova's journey is a reminder that sometimes the simplest formula, affordable, reliable, and tough-looking, creates a legacy that lasts a lifetime. Chevrolet could never have predicted that a budget-friendly compact like the Nova would one day become an enduring icon. More than 50 years later, the 1968 to 1974 Nova still carries that same spark of excitement. Its muscular stance, its simple honesty, and its reputation for performance continue to make hearts beat faster every time one rumbles down the street. But what about you? Have you ever driven a Nova, owned one, or maybe dreamed of having one parked in your garage? Share your stories and your memories in the comments below. If you enjoyed this look back at one of America's favorite classics, don't forget to hit like, and be sure to subscribe so you won't miss the next journey into the machines that shaped our world.